So Aston Martin have also launched a car during Monterey Car Week, and in the excitement of what is Car Week, it's almost gotten glossed over by some of the other crazy stuff that's come out, like a manual McLaren, a Lamborghini Revuelto SV, and the Gordon Murray S1. But Aston Martin have come up with a very unique car of their own, limited to just 150 units, called the Aston Martin Valen. I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers, Earth to Amani, who's been commenting on all my videos, and he specifically asked me about this car, and I was planning to make a video on it anyways, but I wanted to shout him out for commenting on all my videos. I really appreciate the support this weekend, and thank you to all of you who have commented. Sintog comments on a lot of my videos too, so thank you to you. Let's jump into this new Aston Martin Valen. And real quick, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe for me, hit the like button on the video, help me grow the channel, hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Let's keep growing this thing, making it huge. We're having good success this weekend, so hopefully it continues on. Okay, so the Aston Martin Valen, $2.1 million, 150 units. It's built on an Aston Martin Vanquish, which we're going to talk about, and I definitely have some thoughts on this car, so stay tuned throughout the video to hear what I really think about it. But we'll go over what the car is first, and then I'll give my opinions. So it's up about 15 horsepower on the Vanquish. The Vanquish makes like 823 horsepower from its twin turbo V12, which is great. They still make a V12 in 2026. Not complaining about that whatsoever. This car, it says it makes about 838 horsepower. So it's like 15 horsepower up over the car it's built on. Basically insignificant, especially on a rear wheel drive heavy car. You're not going to feel that. And if anything, it might just make the tires slip out even more. Now, they do say that this car has the Vantage GT4 transmission tuning, which it's kind of funny to me that the Vantage and the Vanquish have the same transmission, but that's neither here nor there. It's interesting that they can, you know, have the transmission behave more sportily, essentially, like in a Vantage GT4. So that is an exciting feature about this car. Does that justify 4 to 5 times the price of a Vanquish? We'll talk about that later in the video. That is a big selling point of the car. And another big selling point is that they say the new titanium exhaust, which comes out of the top of the bumper and like a normal exhaust area down the bottom of the bumper, there's 4 tips, so that's pretty cool. But they also say it's 50% louder than a Vanquish, which I find very interesting and I'm a little confused by. Maybe some of my European or UK listeners can let me know, because I thought the new decibel, you know, sound restrictions over there were like 75 decibels or something, like basically just louder than tire noise, if even maybe quieter in some cases, depending on the car. So I'm confused how they can make the Vanquish 50% louder all of a sudden. Like, why weren't they doing that on all the Vanquishes? Is it just because this is a low production number car? That's what I'm assuming. But every new car that comes out, you're hearing, oh, well, they can't make it sound good because of emissions, but then Aston Martin's like, well, we just made it 50% louder. So let me know if you have any insight on that. I'm assuming it's because it's a low production number car, but let me know. And the other thing that really caught my attention is they said it's 234 pounds lighter than a Vanquish, which is impressive to me. I mean, the Vanquish is supposedly built out of like all carbon fiber panels anyways, so I'm surprised they were able to shave that much weight out of it. But they haven't done like a Vanquish AMR or anything like that, or a Vanquish S maybe they would call it, so maybe they kind of just did the S treatment on this Valen first, and I'm assuming we'll see a Vanquish S or Vanquish AMR at some point, because they've done it with the Vantage S and the DB12 S and the DBX S at this point, so everything's gotten an S treatment except the Vanquish, so I do assume we'll see that at some point. Which might be a better alternative to this car, hint hint. But besides the performance stuff we just talked about, the transmission, the weight reduction, and the boost in power, and the better exhaust note, really what you're buying this car for is the unique experience of speccing it exactly however you want. I mean, they launched the car in a crazy paint color that changes depending on what angle you're looking at it from. You can do that, I'm sure, with any shades of whatever color you want, or go for normal colors, or, you know, the interior they picked is very bold and contrasting with itself and with the exterior of the car. So you can do whatever you want on the interior as well. I mean, really you're buying this car to have a bespoke process that you can choose exactly how you want it. And it's basically whatever you want to do, whatever you want to pay for, you can do with this car. And that's kind of the point of these Aston Martin one-offs. Like, if you're not familiar with the Aston Martin Valor or the Aston Martin Victor, they've been making like more limited number cars. The Victor's literally a one-off, but the Valor I think was like 30 or 70 cars, something like that. So that's what they've been doing with these types of cars. I'm a little surprised they're going to make 150 of these. We'll talk about that in my opinion section of the video, because 150 is more than any of the other special editions they made so far. I think the only one that even comes close, they did 110 of one of the special edition cars. I'm blanking on which one. So 150 is the most they've ever done by far. And let's start talking about my opinions on this car, so I can explain why I think this is a problem. So the new Aston Martin Vanquish is great in many ways. It's got the V12, the front end of the car looks great, the back's very subjective depending on who you talk to, the sides kind of average, doesn't offend anybody, no one really loves it either. The convertible one doesn't look as good as the coupe, to be honest with you, on this car. I usually don't think that too much about the Astons, but the Vanquish Volante, something just doesn't work on this generation. But the car does drive great. It's got a twin turbo V12. Who doesn't want 815 horsepower? Twin turbo V12, there's not much to not love about that. The only thing is the price. The price of the Vanquish is ridiculous now. I mean, you're approaching 600 grand in the US at least on most of the cars, but no one's buying them for that. Aston's having to knock 40, 50, 60, 70, in some cases $90,000 off the cars to sell them. So I'm just confused when they're struggling to sell the Vanquish, which is literally 1/4 of the base price of this Valen car. Who's going to buy this $2 million version of a car that nobody wants for $500,000? And that's where I get a little confused. And they're making 150 of them. They barely make, I don't even know if they make 150 Vanquishes a year. I think they said they're only going to make 100 Vanquishes a year. I saw in the press release that Aston Martin says they have more inquiries for the car than they do cars to sell people. I don't believe that. McLaren said something similar about how many of these manual cars they're going to make. I've been told that's not accurate either, that there's not really going to be 500 of those, that it's going to be more of a feeler of how many people want to buy them. I don't think Aston Martin has anywhere near 150 customers for this car yet. And let me make it clear, I love Aston Martin. They're one of my favorite cars. There's multiple that I want to add to my own garage one day. This car, I don't think it was a good timing for it. The brand's kind of struggling as it is right now. Maybe you'll get 20 people to buy this car, great. Maybe you'll make some money on it. I don't know how much they spent developing it. But if we're being honest, you're paying for a Vanquish with a body kit on it that you can spec however you want. And if you pay enough, you can spec your Vanquish however you want anyways. And the Vanquish might be a better looking car than this. I mean, I like the rear end of this car better than the Vanquish. The Vanquish rear, I just don't love right now. But the front, I don't think is better than the Vanquish. I hate to say it, but like head on, it's almost American muscle car. It almost looks like a Camaro and like a Mustang, somewhere in between those two. If you look at just like the front bumper of the car, it's not great. The interior, it's nice, but it's not that different from a Vanquish. So you're literally paying like 4 to 5 times the price, probably 5 times the price after you spec the car how you want, for what is essentially a Vanquish with the body kit on it. And that's kind of what all these Aston Martin one-off cars have been, but usually they give you a manual if you want it. So it is different, like you can't get a manual Vanquish, but this one's not, which in a way I appreciate, because a lot of these cars are better suited nowadays with the dual clutch. There's some that are better with the manual, obviously. The Vanquish is just not selling great, and I don't know why you'd want to spend 5 times the price for what's going to drive just like a Vanquish. Maybe the car does have that transmission tuning, and maybe that makes the car drive way better, but I'm assuming there's going to be a Vanquish S in the near distant future with very similar transmission tuning. The DB12 S and the Vantage S both have very snappy transmissions compared to the regular version of their cars. I'm sure the same thing is going to come to the Vanquish. And the Vanquish, I think, looks better and is a fifth of the price. So to be brutally honest, I don't understand why anybody would buy this car. Obviously, there's people with, infinite funds who will buy anything they can and, go for it. I mean, I'd probably love to order something like that if money was zero object. But some of these one-off cars are getting a little redundant. I love Aston Martin. I want to see them do well as a company. And I just don't know if this one-off car is helping them in any way, especially where I don't believe they're going to sell all 150 of these. I feel like it's going to be one of those cars that, they were going to make 150 and all of a sudden they are only making like 60. And then, no, they really only made like 48 or something like that. Kind of like the McLaren Elva. They were supposed to make like 300 of those. And then they said they were going to cut production to like 250, and I don't think they even made 200 of them, if I have my numbers right on that. So I think this is going to be a similar story with these cars. I bet they'll make around like 70 of them, if I had to guess. Maybe 77 to tie into the Aston Martin 177, which was one of their best looking, hypercar, one-off series type of cars. 177 was great, and I feel like they're just trying to replicate the 177 without putting the effort in of what made the 177 so special. So I'd like to see them do that for sure. This car just feels like a Vanquish with a body kit to me, and a transmission tune, a better exhaust. And if we're being honest, like if you really wanted to tune a Vanquish to have a transmission tune and a better exhaust, you can find somebody that can do that for you. So either wait for Aston Martin to make a Vanquish S or have your Vanquish tuned if that's really what you want to do, would be my advice on this. I personally would not want to spend $5 million or $2.5 million on this. I can think of a lot of better ways to spend $2.5 million. If you're having a hard time, figuring out what to do with your spare $2.5 million, leave a comment below. I'll help you figure it out. But I think that's all I've got to say about this Aston Martin Valen. I like the car. I like how it looks and everything. I think the price is probably double what I think it should be. Like if this car was a few $100,000 more than a Vanquish and you could go as bespoke as you wanted with it, great. That would have been a good proposition. Say a Vanquish is 500, people are really paying like 460. If this car was like 800 to 900,000, I could see people justifying it, because they get something super bespoke from a brand like Aston Martin that people do covet and love for a good reason. At like under $1 million, this is a fantastic value proposition all of a sudden. At $2.5 million, it's like, what are we doing here? So, love you, Aston Martin. Not trying to hate on you at all. I just don't like this car. I don't think you guys launched it correctly. Please reach out if you want any advice. I'd love to help you. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Please like the video for me. Please subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss anything. I've got this video coming out tomorrow, whenever you're seeing it, of course. And I've got the Gordon Murray S1 review coming out as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll make a summary of the whole car week at the end of the weekend as well. But we still got more cars to cover, so don't go anywhere yet. Please keep watching my videos. Check out any from the last few days if you haven't already. Some of them have been really good, I like to think. They've all got some good information and stuff and some good, opinions in there as well. If you can't tell, sometimes I get a little passionate about these things. So I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks to my loyal subscribers who've been commenting and helping grow the channel. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.